What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Crew Lounge, episode 2. My name is Captain Corey, and tonight we're going to talk about how to become a pilot. Step 1. I just posted the video earlier today of episode 1 from the Crew Lounge, and big hit. Thank you so much, guys, for the comments and the feedback. I love it. Share it with your friends. I started a group on Facebook called the Crew Lounge. If you want to get in, search for it, and or you can send me a request, and I will invite you. I want that to be kind of a place where we can talk, and guys that are going through training can link up with guys that are in the field, and we can meet up, or digitally, I guess, not like crazy meetup stuff, but like, you know what I mean? Just a way we can connect, keep it all in there. But keep sending your comments and subscribe so you know when we do more of this kind of stuff. So anyways, tonight, how to become a pilot. Step 1. You decided, hey, I want to be a career pilot. There's basically 2 ways you can go about getting your flight training, because that's the first thing you need to do is figure out how to learn to fly. There's 3 main licenses you need: your private pilot, then your instrument rating, and then your commercial license. Those are kind of the main licenses you need. There's a couple other ratings and things in there you get, but where are you going to do that training? First one I'm going to talk about, and this is kind of the old school way. It used to be the most popular way. If you wanted to be a pilot, you went through the military. All right, and I actually read an article today from Flying Magazine. It was on Facebook, that the military is very short on pilots. Because the airlines are hiring so much now, guys are not sticking around to continue flying in the military. The military is offering bonuses to guys, and they just aren't biting because they want to get out, they want better schedule, quality of life, that kind of thing. So they're short for guys. They need guys. I looked at going into the military. My alma mater, Utah State University, had a really great ROTC program. A lot of the guys that went through it were placed in flight slots. I went and talked to them when I get hay fever sometimes in the spring, and right on their list there, it kind of disqualified me. So that was out of the question. So I decided not to do that, and but a lot of guys do. A lot of guys go that way. One of the perks of flying in the military, you get great training. You can count on that. And it can be fun. You serve your country if you're into that. Like, I fully support that. That was originally how I was going to do it and what I had thought about doing. And they pay for it, so it's free. What you have to give them, though, is some time. I think it's anywhere from 8 to 10 years is required service, maybe a little more. If you stay longer, your retirement is better and that kind of thing. So, but it's still a great way to go, and they need guys, so you might be able to have a better shot now if your grades are good, you're in good health, to get a flight slot. I just don't think it's as competitive. You probably have a pretty good shot if that's what you want to do, and you can get your flight training that way. So that's step number 1. If you're into the military and you want to consider it, go talk to your local Air Force or Navy or whoever you want to fly with, and get the scoop from them. That's what I would recommend. And they would tell you a lot better than I will. Route number 2, that is actually the more common way right now, and what most guys are doing, is going through a 4-year, or a lot of places you can do a 2-year associate degree. You can either do associate or bachelor degree, 2 or 4-year program through university or college. And that's very popular right now. Flight schools are booming all over the country. You might have heard of some popular ones: North Dakota, Embry-Riddle. I know where I'm from in Columbus, Ohio State has a program. I think there's one in Ohio. There's a few in Ohio. They're all over. Purdue, I know, nearby has one. I went through Utah State. I think there's like 3 in Utah right now, at least 3 flight schools in Utah. They're everywhere. If you want to do a degree in aviation, they're everywhere. So now the downside with that is you got to pay for it out of pocket. And I hate to break it to you, as you might have guessed, it's pretty expensive. It's not the cheapest major, if you want to be a career pilot. Because not only do you have to pay for your tuition and fees and books and everything, you're paying for flight fees. And I can't quote you a price. Every school's different. But you're probably looking somewhere at least 50 to 60 grand for your flight training costs. And I know that's a big thing, and I almost got out of flying because I didn't want to take that on. And I'm so glad I didn't worry about that and I just went for it, because it's the best job ever. And you can get the money, it's available, and the way jobs are right now, you shouldn't have any problems paying that back. You should be able to get a job, and the loan payments are manageable, and I'm just about done paying mine, and I've been graduated 8 years now. Most guys is around 10. I should be pretty close to that. So, and there's scholarships, and I'm going to do a thing on scholarships too. Don't worry about that. We'll talk about that today, just on what route to go. Now, a couple guys asked me in the last video, do I need to do any flight training before I get to school? And the answer is no. You don't need to do any flight training before you show up your first day of college. You could show up and start your flying that same day. Doesn't matter. Now, if you have the opportunity and the resources to maybe get your private pilot's license or your instrument, I would recommend it, because you're going to be that much further ahead. Anything you can do to be ahead in aviation is going to benefit you. I mean, it's the same really in any field, but especially with your flight training. You know why? This is for you guys that were asking. Now look, if you're too busy, if you have high school athletics or band or theater or whatever you're into, and you don't have the time to add flying, that's okay. You're not, don't think, I gotta, no, like, you'll be all right. But if you can, and it's going to help you, it's not a bad thing. So I graduated high school. 3 weeks after I graduated, I moved out to Logan, Utah State University to do they offered a summer course. So in 8 weeks, I got my private pilot's license. So day one of college, I started, and I was in instrument ground school, and it was great. So that definitely helped me and put me ahead. So if you can, I would recommend it, but it's not necessary. You can show up and not have any training done. The other perks of going through a flight school, and this is something, now, obviously, if you go through the military, you can come right out and go get a job right at like a company like a Delta or United, the big major carriers, because they value and they appreciate your service and understand that you were trained a certain way. Now, it's not to say that military training you're going to be a much better pilot, but your demeanor and the way you respect authority, there's different breed of guys that go through the military, and they get a lot of respect, deservedly so. So that's one of the perks of going through the military. If you go to a 4-year, like I said, 2-year degree program, a lot of those colleges now, and ask about this. I would definitely ask. If you find a couple schools that you're looking at, and I hope you don't just have your heart set on one, find out what kind of flow through or programs or deals they have with some of the regional carriers, because we'll talk about this in another video, the steps after college, but see if they have a deal with some kind of carrier where it either guarantees you an interview, gives you an opportunity to do internships, see if they have any kind of connections that way. A lot of airlines now are saying, hey, if once your students get their flight instructor certificate, we'll basically put them on our payroll and they can teach, and then once they get their 1,500 hours or 1,000 hours, whatever they need, they can come on and work for us. And then so there's a lot. I didn't have that. When I went through flight school, it was right at the peak of the recession, and so didn't have that benefit of getting right into the airlines. That's kind of partly why I'm in corporate aviation instead of the regionals. Regionals are a good way to go. We'll talk about that too. But yeah, so that would be a question I would ask your school. What kind of guys get jobs? What network do they have maybe after graduation? Where do most guys go? I knew going in that when I went to Utah State, most of the guys ended up going to SkyWest, and they had a little deal with SkyWest. Now I think they still do. They've got another deal with another program now. So ask those questions. What do you have after? Because a lot of them have those now. So that's kind of a perk of going through one of these programs. Now, some guys will just go and do it independently, and they don't go through a degree program. Is a degree necessary? No, not for a regional necessarily. But if you want to move up and go to a Delta or what those are what we call the major carriers, you will want a degree. And even some of the regional carriers want at least an associate's degree, so keep that in mind. Not all of them do, but I think it's becoming a little more common. So where was I going with that? So that's something to look at. See what kind of flow through, we call it, opportunities are there when you go with your school of choice. Someone asked me about North Dakota. Is North Dakota a good school? It was one of my top schools when I was looking. I decided I really liked going out to Utah. I had some family there, so that worked out for me. But North Dakota is a great school. I've never met anybody that went there that hated it. They have a very well-known program. So if that's what you want to do, I would say go for it. So that's kind of, again, how to become a pilot. How to start is pick your school, find out what opportunities they have after graduation, any deals or programs to get you in with an airline, because that's kind of, we'll talk about that in a different video. Getting an interview and getting your face out there. There's a big demand for pilots right now. So if you're at a great time to train, get through it as fast as you can is what I would recommend. And go get a job and start making money. So that's, you picked a right time to want to learn to fly. Come back. I'm going to do a video probably next week. We'll talk about, what to do after graduation, airlines, corporate, cargo, whatever, and what to do that way. But again, if you want to become a pilot, you either got to pick military or civilian. If you pick civilian, pick a good school. Definitely recommend going through a 4-year program. Again, one more thing is on the 4-year program is you don't have to major in aviation. You don't have to. A lot of guys major in business. I would recommend it. The perk of doing the aviation program is you get some extra classes, maybe a little more in depth on weather, systems knowledge. So that would be a perk of sticking with the because it helps. Like the basic system knowledge you get just going through your flight training, if you do it independently, is kind of weak, but I took classes about the 7.5, 7.6 systems and the regional jet. We had a ground school, basically regional jet ground school, crew resource management, aviation law, some of those things that were helpful. So that's what do I recommend it over, say, maybe doing a business degree or something like that? I'm not going to say that. That's for you to decide. But if you do, I would recommend taking some of those classes. If you're like, I really don't want to do the aviation major, I want to, have the business background too, take some of those extra aviation classes. Definitely do that. So, it's the best career, guys. Like, just love it. Whatever you do, just pick it and love it and enjoy flying. You don't get any better than this. I'm here. I didn't even tell you where I was. I'm in Decatur, Illinois today, the Hampton Inn. So we just got right into it today. Just super excited to talk about how to become a pilot. I get those questions a lot. If you have follow-up questions from anything you heard tonight, please leave a comment. Email me, captaincoreymedia@gmail.com, and tell me if you want to be in the Facebook group. Send me an email, write me a comment with your name, and I can add you to the group on Facebook. And again, we can keep the conversation going there. I want to do we're going to do a video one time on networking. One of the guys I fly with is hands down the best networker I have ever seen as a pilot. So I want to get him on the show. I talked to him about that, and he sounded open to do that. So we're going to do that. I just want to give you guys value. Don't spend $20 on some BS ebook, how to be a pilot. Like, come here, you can ask me. I will help you out. We'll get through this. There's other resources too. I can point you, if I don't know the answer, I can tell you who you should talk to at your school, advisors, those kinds of things. This is all about you guys. Like, I get nothing from this. I'm not going to sell you some, like I said, some stupid ebook or crazy course or whatever. Like, I know I've been there in that position where there's just so many questions, and what job do I take, and how do I get the interview, and what school should I do, all that stuff. I get it. So come here and let me help you out, and we'll get through this. I'm so happy to do this for you. Again, if you want more behind the scenes, I do a vlog as well of pilot life. You can see what we do kind of in the corporate world, how things work. Obviously, if you're here, it's on my channel. At the end of the video, I'll put a link to the playlist with the vlog in there. And any comments or questions, shares, if you guys are in aviation groups, share this with them, and hit me up with those questions. I'll appreciate it, guys. Love you. We'll see you next time on the Crew Lounge.